But I want you to listen to this clip of Obama today, and I want you to listen to it this way. That is the way he and the left attack individualism. The way he, speaking for the left, view the individual as weak, incompetent, directionless. Just listen to how he puts down individualism and talks up, I should say, government, control. And by the way, the handful of people who would like to run our lives, aren't those individuals too? I mean, how is it that they avoided being part of our community, the riffraff, and yet they are so brilliant? But I want you to listen to what he says with that mindset, okay? The attack on the individual and the promotion of government. Go ahead, Mr. Producer, cut 8.
Their philosophy is simple. You are on your own. You're on your own. You know, if you're out of work, can't find a job, tough luck. You're on your own. If you don't have health care, that's your problem. You're on your own. If you're born into poverty, lift yourself up out of with your own bootstraps, even if you don't have boots. You're on your own. They believe that's how America has advanced. That's the cramped, narrow conception they have of liberty. And they are wrong.
First of all, may I ask my fellow Americans, is he painting a picture of our country? Is that what we do in this country? Do we have no real charities through our religious affiliations? Or real nonprofit groups, again, that try and help people who are worse off than we are? Do we have family members that help family members, friends who help family members? I mean, what kind of a picture of America is he painting? Where does he think he lives? So play it again. This is a very, very important point. He's right. We have a completely different view of America. We have a completely different view of America and humanity and individual sovereignty. Play it again, Mr. Producer.
Their philosophy is simple. You are on your own. You're on your own. You know, if you're out of work, can't find a job, tough luck. You're on your own. If you don't have health care, that's your problem. You're on your own. If you're born into poverty, lift yourself up out of with your own bootstraps, even if you don't have boots. You're on your own. They believe that's how America has advanced. That's the cramped, narrow conception they have of liberty. And they are wrong.
Notice he never defines liberty, by the way. The first sentence in the first chapter of Ameritopia, tyranny broadly defined, is the use of power to dehumanize the individual and delegitimize his nature. The first sentence. The second sentence in Ameritopia, political utopianism is tyranny disguised as a desirable, workable, and even paradisiacal governing ideology. That is this imagery of a paradise that they're going to create. It's an attack on the individual. It's an attack on individualism. At the core of Western civilization is faith in the individual. I don't mean religious faith. I mean societal faith in the individual, that the individual is at his or her core decent. Of course there are exceptions. We know about criminals and all that. But society generally, most individuals in a civil society have to be decent or you don't have a civil society. Most of your neighbors are good people. Most of your family members are good people. Most of your coworkers are good people. They're not criminals. They're not out to harm other people. They try to follow the rules. They try to live their lives. They try and care for their families. This is the notion that undergirds Western civilization. More than that, it is a notion that undergirds Christianity and Judaism and other religions. That the individual has value, the individual can reason, the individual can think. And there needs to be responsibility, too, for the individual. Obama is trashing the whole notion of individualism. He's trying to paint a picture of this society that doesn't exist. And I do not understand, not for the life of me, how people can vote for this kind of a mindset. We don't leave everybody to fend for themselves. We've never left everybody to fend for themselves, even before we had this massive Leviathan federal government. How did we survive as a people before the New Deal? Can you tell me? How did we survive as a people before the Great Society? How did we survive as a people before Barack Obama? Very well. We had an industrial revolution. The Industrial Revolution is what created prosperity. And not just for robber barons, so-called. The big robber barons today are the people who feed off the government, the crony capitalists. But not just for robber barons, quote-unquote. It created a massive so-called middle class. That's why we never had this proletariat rising up to take on the bourgeoisie. The Industrial Revolution brought us electricity, brought us automobiles, brought us aircraft. It brought us sewer systems, flush toilets, running water. It brought us the ability to mass manufacture things, not only things in the home, but the home itself. Individuals with ideas. Individuals creating wealth. Individuals pursuing their self-interest. The President of the United States repudiates the Declaration of Independence. He repudiates John Locke, who was relied on by Jefferson and so many of the founders when they were drafting the Declaration of Independence. We had a gentleman call here, I believe his name was Ron. He gets it completely. He identified himself as a black man, which was unnecessary. But Ron said, I'm unemployed. I was laid off on Veterans Day. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, I have liberty. With liberty, you can do almost anything. The left hates a man like Ron because Ron seeks to be independent. Ron seeks to be self-sufficient. Ron wants to live like a human being because he is a human being. That audio is crucial. And Obama has said that before. You're left to fend for yourself. And I would say this as a practical matter. We have a budget that's almost $4 trillion. The vast majority of the budget is not the military. The vast majority of the budget are programs, entitlements, programs, domestic programs, redistributing wealth, creating safety nets where there are safety nets on top of safety nets on top of safety nets. And yet Obama acts like we've never had a New Deal. Obama acts like we never had a Great Society. Obama acts like we never had this massive stimulus program. Obama acts like there isn't Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, S-chip, unemployment, on and on. He acts like none of this Leviathan exists. Doesn't he? And yet it's all there, taking down the entire society. Because too many presidents and too many Congresses have agreed with Obama that you're too stupid and incompetent and incapable to take care of yourself. Tyranny, broadly defined, is the use of power to dehumanize the individual and delegitimize his nature. Obama never talks about the value of the individual. When he's not talking about himself, he's talking about the value of a big, monstrous, bloated federal government.